Hello everyone and welcome along to the T6 Porsche GT3 Championship. We are live from the Bahrain International Circuit, a top-class circuit located in the middle of some sandy dunes in a near-desert conditions. This is for the fifth round of the championship. Qualifying will of course come first to set the grid. Then we have two races lined up for you, 25 minutes each, where the second will be partially reverse grid, the amount randomly decided during the first race. My name is Ashley Denman, sat alone in the comms lounge this evening, and of course bringing you this fantastic stream. The very championship itself, I should say, is Rich Weatherall, who'll be keeping everything running behind the scenes. I'm sure most of you have just come and enjoyed the F1 in its neighbouring country here of Bahrain, but let's get ready for the only night race of the season. So get comfortable, find a drink and maybe a snack to go with, because here we go. Let's take a look at the standings as they sit after our last round in Portugal, Portimão. Cito Vea on 128, still leading the championship, with Vlad Tokarev in second on 114. Callum Cripps is lining up that top three of 88, and not far behind him is Alessandro Cappa in fourth, and Johan Kurjan is fifth. In sixth, we have Tobias Hoffmann with 75 and Chris Brevet on 68 in seventh. Cahill Graf is on 65 in 8th position, with Fraser Hart with 58 in 9th, and Alex O'Grady currently rounding out our top 10 with 46. Well, that's the standings all done and dusted. Let's take a look at the circuit itself. We have a fantastic 3.36 mile or 5.41 kilometre track length, and the current track record holder, Alex O'Grady, of a 157.929, and some important corners, you could say. Turn number one, of course, brilliant overtaking opportunity, heavy on the brakes. Equally, turn number 4 as well, almost rivaling that of the first one. Turn number 8 is also a very nice hairpin, easy to line up and move if you can get alongside your rivals through the S's. And turn 13, another corner where we should be able to see some brilliant side-by-side action, and of course a lovely clear evening, I will say. It is showing us some brilliant sun there, 29 degrees, but of course it is a night race, so it is very much just the air temperature left over from the day. But nice clear weather should be nice and easy for the drivers out there. All they have to do is maximise their performance around this iconic circuit, I would say. At this point, of course, hosted the first Formula One Grand Prix in the Middle East. Circuit very much purposely built for that by, of course, the Prince of the country. And yeah, I mean, what a circuit it is. I know it's one of Darragh's favourites. I'm sure he'd be singing its praises if he was here. Unfortunately, not tonight, like I say, by myself here again. But either way, I'm sure a show will be put on. Currently holding provisional pole is Kurjan with a 158. I believe that says 0.6. Yes, it does, as I bring up my timing tower to just make sure and confirm. And Cito Weah second, with Callum Cripps in third. Only a few hundredths separating all the drivers out there so far, but it does tail off a little bit towards the bottom end, as we see Alan Axon here starting a flying run. Other important things to note, we have Sebastian Hertus currently serving a qualifying ban, so we will not see a lap time from him here for qualifying, so he will be at the back of the first race at least. Let's see how far he can make his way up during that first run, and then see where he can line up for the second one afterwards. Only 16 drivers here tonight, so it's not normally the numbers we're expecting, but I would imagine quite a lot of people just enjoying the real-life Formula One event that has just happened. Massive congratulations to Oscar Piastri, I will say. One of my favourite drivers on the calendar, on the rostrum, I should say. But we're currently here for T6 Motorsport, and qualifying almost wrapped up as well. Big thanks also to our sponsors in Phoenix Sim Racing and Demon Tweaks. So do check those guys out in the description. But I will get to them a bit later on, but still a massive thanks to those guys as well. As 2.5 minutes left here in qualifying, we can see who is going to be where for the grid itself. This is Tobias Hoffmann for Brabham Motorsport, currently 6th so far, but he's got a purple Sector 1, so this looks like he could be onto a very good lap here indeed. Let's see what it's going to be when he gets to Sector 2. Is it still purple? or has he lost time in the middle sector? I think the line is about there. Oh, there it is. Yeah, yellow line there. So that is not his personal best. Doesn't mean he's slow. He just hasn't gained any more time. He's only got one sector left, and it is pretty much just 2 straights and a corner in between. Turn 14, final proper corner here. There is, of course, the kink as you exit it, which is technically turn 15, the final corner. However, it all does seem like it folds into one. And as Tobias now runs up to the line, has he made an improvement? Yes, he does. Go third fastest. Unable to break the front row, though. Callum Cripps up to the line now. He was setting personal best and goes second. Only just missing out on provisional pole. William Snowden then up to the line. Where's he gone? He's 7th fastest. And that will be qualifying done and dusted for all these guys. They will not be able to get on to another lap. Fraser Hart, 10th position. Personal best, sector 1. Has he got more time to find for the Brabham X Fassetti outfit? Minute. Just under a minute now left on the clock. He's green sector 2, another personal best for him. It's not the best in the session, but that doesn't mean he's not going to improve. Fraser Hart currently sat 9th in the standings. Hasn't been able to crack a he hasn't been able to crack a podium, unfortunately, all season long. Let's see where he could put this Porsche now, though, as he crosses the line. Where does he stick it? Fraser Hart jumps up to 6th. Not too bad, but definitely yearning for a bit of an improvement. And this man, young man I should say as well, newbie here for the Porsche GT Championship, Lewis Werrell. And it is his debut evening. Let's see where he can stick that car. Currently sat 12th or 13th now, as he's just been knocked down ever so slightly. But with everything to prove, does young Lewis, as he rounds turn at 12, 13 coming up now. Lovely S's. I'm sure we're going to see some brilliant side-by-side action there this evening. I'm certainly expecting it. Using all of the exit and then some, as much as he dares go for. Setting personal bests in his first and second sector. As we've had more drivers jumping up the order. Kurjan is also fastest in the middle sector. See if he can improve. But we're currently still on board here with Lewis as he comes up to the line now. Where can he put that car? He's jumped 1 position. So small improvement for Lewis there. Will start 12th. But I don't think the only person behind him that can improve is Raider Uhalau. He is personal best in the first sector, but we're still wait and see what he can do. Is he's personal best in the middle as well. And Alessandro Cappa now up to the line, currently 9th. Does he find improvement? Personal best middle sector for him. Does find a small improvement. Goes up to 5th fastest. As the gaps are ever shrinking between the drivers now. And Fraser Hart rounding the final corner. I believe he's not quite the final driver on circuit. Still a few guys going out there going round. Fraser Hart to the line. Does he find improvement? Yes, he does. Jumps up to 5th fastest now. Sorry, been knocked to 6th as well. As Weyer out of nowhere snatches provisional pole. The only man that can upset that now is this man, the track record holder currently in Alex O'Grady. Rounds the final corner. You've got a personal best middle sector. Is it good enough in the final one to upset the top? Yes, he does it! He does it! No way! 9 thousandths of a second between them. Does an absolutely fantastic 360. Oh, he definitely gets the style points for that one. Oh, well done, Alex. Well done indeed. He'll be chuffed to bits for that one. Pole position right at the death. Last man on the circuit. Snatches it away from everybody, but he does take that top step. Cedar Way is going to have to settle for second best, but will be on the front row alongside him. Then we have Johan Kurjan in 3rd in the sister Brabham Motorsport car. Callum Cripps also up there for Brabham Motorsport. They hold 2nd, 3rd and 4th. That team really is something right there on the second row. Chris Gravett 5th with Tobias Hoffman 6th. Fraser Hart, Kappa, Tokarev and Snowden 7, 8, 9 and 10. Then the back half of the field, we've got Cahill Graf, 11th, Lewis Wetherall, 12th, Carlo Messina is 13th, Alan Axon, 14th, Raider Uhalau unable to set a lap time in the end, and Sebastian Hurst is, of course, serving that qualifying ban. So we'll start at the very back, but has everything in front of him, so the only way is up for Hurtus. It's just a matter of how high he can climb, and we'll have to wait and see how that one unfolds for him. Alex O'Grady telling us in the chat he had no tyres left for that lap, but that doesn't matter. It clearly didn't affect him because he still got it done. And my word, what a lap it was indeed. Well done, Alex. Fair play to you. Riders out there on circuit currently. This is just the warm-up, so the grid being set as we get ready for the race itself. You can see it's daytime, but the race itself will, of course, be during the night. Trying to work out who we're riding on board with here, but either way, you can get an idea of the circuit itself. This is up the edge of turn 4, now into the S's of 5, 6 and 7. You really want to attack the curbs as much as you can to maximise your time. Now turn 8 hairpin, and again, no names around this circuit, so it's all number based. Definitely an overtaking opportunity into that corner, but then right again, turn 9 and 10. This is the trickiest corner on the circuit. You're braking and turning at the same time. Easy to lock a wheel into that turn 10. Again, I'm trying to work out who it is driving. I'm not sure who it is, but either way, they navigated it rather well. And then down this short back straight into turn 11, this very quick left-hander corner. Formula 1 cars, easily 5th, 6th gear. Of course, with the GT3s or the Porsche 992, you do have to drop it a little bit. And it's Fraser Hart here who we're riding on board with as he navigates the circuit for us. Turn 13. It's a lot slower than I was expecting. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, and that's nothing that's against Fraser. That's just my expectation of the cars itself. Again, of course, normally you see Formula 1 cars going around this circuit, and if you were watching it last week, you can see the the speed difference in the car. Of course, downforce being the key factor. Down the final corner, and down this very, very long start-finish straight. It's going to be interesting for Alex O'Grady, mainly on the fact that the run from the grid spot down to turn number 1 is about 336 metres. It is a rather long run, and does mean that there is definitely a chance that some of your rivals can get alongside, maybe even a lunge into turn number 1. Of course, it cuts back immediately for turn 2, but it's definitely going to be interesting to say the least. Cedarware getting his practice starts in. And everybody else just warming up, getting familiar with the car around this circuit. Where's the grip? Where can you push? Where do you have to be a bit more patient with everything? But there is plenty of runoff, some 140,000 square metres of it around here. And interestingly, with the circuit itself, of course, Bahrain, very tiny country. I was rather sad and found out the total landmass of the country and how much the circuit takes up. If you converted it into a percentage, the percentage of the size of the circuit takes up 0.5% of the entire country's landmass. Now, if you compare that to Silverstone in the United Kingdom, that takes up 0.001% of the entire landmass of the United Kingdom. So that's just how small this country is. Of course, it's not even the smallest country in Asia. It's the 3rd smallest. I think Singapore and the Maldives are the only 2 in front of it in terms of size, or behind it, I should say, in terms of size. But either way, enough about country sizes. I'm sure we'll all be comparing into the night. We're going to see who can get to turn number 1 first of all and take that early advantage into the first corner. We'll have the formation lap before then, of course, so don't forget that one. And we can then have one final look at the grid while drivers do their final preparations. It's a sea of blue at the front there, and the odd one out, of course, the yellow car of Alex O'Grady. go for the formation lap. Well, let's have a look at the grid then and see how this stacks up one final time before we get going under some green racing conditions. Alex O'Grady took pole with Sido Vea alongside him. Johan Kurjan is third with Callum Cripps fourth. There we go, we can see it once again while it flashed and has now come back. But yeah, there we go, top four once again for you. And well, Alex O'Grady in his privateer has got a sea of Brabham behind him. Chris Gravett will take fifth in his Unlimited Esports, with Tobias Hoffman also for Brabham is sixth position on that third row. Fraser Hart, another Brabham car, seventh with Alessandro Kappa for mixed wheels in eighth. Vlad Tokarev, another privateer, is ninth with William Snowden for Boyd Transport Racing, 10th position. Kaihal Graf is going to be 11th, and then Lewis, the new boy, is 12th. Carlo Messina 13th with Alan Axon alongside him, 13th, in 14th. Sebastian Hurtis, of course, serving his qualifying ban, will start 15th. Raider Uhalau didn't set a time, will be 16th. And we have a late comer in Danny Oliver for Brabham Fassetti. He will start right at the back in 17th. They've only done half a lap, so it is quite a long one. Like we saw earlier, just under the 2-minute mark. So I'm going to guess about 13 laps in this race, maybe 14 if they are very lucky indeed. But I think it's more urging towards the size of 13. I would imagine a lot of the drivers just sort of maybe trying to just get into the heads of the other drivers, potentially trying to sort of get alongside whilst they're doing the formation lap. I need to double check the rule book on everything, but everyone's behaving themselves. But it is, of course, it is a speed game in that you need to be quicker than your opponent, but it is a psychological one as well. And you do need to be prepared for all aspects of it as they round turn 14 and 15, the final corner, as we get ready for the first 25-minute race to come. Almost feels like they're too small for the circuit. It's such a wide circuit, of course, a very modern circuit, built in 2004, another Herman Tilke classic. As you can see, the nice V-shaped formation of the Brabham team there, fanning out across the road as they all try to find their grid spots now. Let's see where they are going to aim their car. That's going to be an interesting decision. Like I say, it's a long run down towards turn number 1, and that looked to be a Kurjan there behind O'Grady. He's aiming practically at the pit wall, so he's desperately looking to try and cover up those behind him. But if he can get a good launch, maybe go past the one in front of him. Here come the klaxons though. Getting ready, engines revving. Oh, that was quite a long hole, but there they go then, away from the starting blocks. What a brilliant start for Sido Ware. He's already down the inside of O'Grady and already past O'Grady as they make their way towards the braking zone of turn 1. He's going to have to go deep on the brakes if he wants to try and go around the outside. Just about doing that. Does have the cutback for turn number 2, but Weyer already in front and O'Grady in second position. Kurjan held his spot. Tobias Hoffman has climbed 2 positions there in 4th. He's now challenging Kurjan for the podium spot already, as Gravett holding his own as well. William Snowden's climbed 4 in the opening couple of corners. Fantastic start from him there as well. As we've got a yellow flag. Not too sure who that is, but either way it's gone already as they now make their way through the S's and down towards turn number 8. Vlad Tokarev there still in 10th. Is that a bit of a lunge from the car behind? I think that was Danny Oliver. Danny Oliver's up to 12th already after starting on the very back of the grid. A few cars obviously losing out in the opening couple of corners, but everything looking pretty neat and tidy so far, so that is great news there. I'm just trying to work out who is in that red car. Callum Cripps is obviously having to fight them. I think that is William Snowden there. This is the battle for 6th spot. Cripps on the inside as they make their way into turn 11. Can William go up and under? Don't think he's going to have the pace to do it for the time being. As drivers begin to settle in now, find a bit of tarmac that is clear and free, and now start to get into a bit of a rhythm. That is the all-important thing when racing. Find your rhythm, find your groove, get in it and stick to it, and you'll tend to find that you'll win a lot through just purely that method. So as they round the final corner for the first lap then, Cedar Ware has managed to take the front spot. O'Grady second, Kurjan is third, as that is a car into the pit lane. Who was that? Was that Chris Crevette? Chris Crevette has gone into the pit lane. Now, I don't quite know what has happened to him, but he's optionally, he hasn't optionally, he has purposely gone into pit lane there. Don't know what has happened. Maybe we can find out after the race, during the break at least, as this is the battle here, I believe, for P8 between Fraser Hart, Tokarev. I think that's actually Callum Cripps, apologies, so that'll be the battle for P7 here. Kappa going for the defensive line. I felt like he might not have needed to do that, but either way he has done. As I'm getting confirmation from Rich, I think Brevet jumped the start, so had to serve a drive through into the pit lane. So that is quite a big thing, especially around here. It's quite a long pit lane as well. Definitely a punishment, but of course if you jump the start, you need to be punished for it, and that is going to be a big blow to Brevet then for race number 1 here. Has all of his work cut out for him and to do. Sebastian Hertus there, just getting past Raider Uhalau, I believe, as we jump forward just a bit further. This is Vlad Tokarev, right behind Fraser Hart for P8. Bumper to bumper stuff here as they make their way through turn 12 and then up towards turn 13. Feels like quite a flat circuit, this one, but it is actually, you know, fairly elevated up and down. Not a high circuit though by any means. Of course, you are right near sea level, being that it is an archipelago. Down to turn 14 here. Tokarev just easing out of it, no lunges. No need to overdo it. Now here's your best chance, down towards turn number 1. Hug the slipstream of the guy in front, get right up under his rear wing, and then pull out at the last minute as best you can, late on the brakes, and send it. O'Grady still holding second here from Kurjan. Brabham Motorsport definitely sandwiching in the privateer. As Tobias Hoffman, fourth, is the fastest man out there. Last lap also set the fastest lap as well. You can see there 1, 2, 3, 4. Cripps is in 5th, just a small way back there as well, also for Brabham. Very much dominating this race so far. Of course, Grady upsetting that apple cart a little bit, but either way they'll be happy with the result thus far. As this is Cahill Graf currently battling with, I believe, it is Alan Axon, as that was a little bit too much door-to-door stuff. They touch a little bit, slightly off the circuit, but managed to regain control back on, and no harm, no foul. But I think that may be looked at after the race. Axon maybe feel a little bit aggrieved with that overtake. We move forward though. You can see the battle behind raging on between Lewis Werrell and Sebastian Hertus. That's for P11. We're still on board here with Vlad Tokarev, as he is still right behind Fraser Hart for the time being. No way through so far. Here is the battle. Werrell and Hertus. 10th and 11th. It's going to be hard to tell who is who because they've got an identical livery, as that is going to be Hertus through, and I think that was very well choreographed, as this is the leader then. Weyer, O'Grady, Kurjan. Hoffman just dropped off ever so slightly, as Weyer has now set the fastest lap of a 1:59.179. O'Grady 1:59.3, Kurjan a 1:59.3, Hoffman slightly off 59.5. That's obviously reflected in the gap, opening up ever so slightly. Cripps a 59.8, so from 4 and up, not much separating them, but I think Cripps and down, a little bit of a two-horse race, you could say. Best of the rest. William Snowden, though, managed to get a fantastic getaway from the line, climbed 4 positions to 6th here, hasn't looked back since, but he has been having to try and defend as best he can, because Alessandro Cappa has definitely been putting him under pressure. As we jump back a bit forward, I should say. This is way O'Grady Cursion still. Gap not much, you know, between all three of them. 0.4, 0.5, about half a second. And this is all about race management at this point. Make sure you get the podium first of all, and then within the last 5 minutes, then you can really go at it. As I do not know quite what is happening here. This is between Graf and Danny Oliver. Into turn 11. They've been rubbing wheels all the way down that back straight. Don't quite know what happened, why that was happening, but either way, they haven't had any big incidents, so they'll keep driving forward and racing hard. So there, Tokarev trying to get past Hart and Capper trying to get past Snowden. Turn 14. You want to get an all-important exit. You've got the longest straight now coming up. Can you get a good slipstream and make a move into turn number 1? That's your aim. That's your target. There it is. You've just got to lock in. If you're feeling the force, maybe you can turn off that targeting system, but I would elect to keep it on. There's no way by for Capper for the time being. Very tricky to outbrake your rivals. You really do have to be so confident on the brakes. Of course, no ABS. We are running the Cup version of the Porsche. So no ABS, no traction control. So it is all about skill, grit, determination. And of course, a little bit of luck never hurts anybody. Still no change at the front, and the gap is looking very similar indeed. O'Grady slowly closing in there into turn number 10. I think that is the small Constantina effect, but he's maintained it on exit as well. So O'Grady's still looking strong at this point. You know, he's not out of it just yet, but Weir with the better getaway from the start. Of course, that is how he took the lead right from word go into turn number 1 of lap number 1. And has now just been under pressure ever since. Persian was unable to get alongside him to follow through, but either way has still also applied the pressure to O'Grady, hasn't backed off. Hoffman Cripps, I feel like are sort of a little bit off the front three in terms of pace, but they're still holding their own. And then we've got this brilliant battle still going on here between Hoffman and Capper down to turn 14. Snowden, I do apologise. Snowden having to look a little bit defensive there, but still no way through for Capper, and Tokarev still looking at the back of Fraser Hart's Porsche as well. He's got all the way up to the pit wall. They're weaving left and right. Capper almost into the back of Snowden as they now fly down towards turn number 1. Top speed into the braking zone. Can he get alongside into the right-hander? No, he can't. Can he do the up and under though? Potentially. I think he's lining up the move here for turn number 4. Is able to get alongside out the exit of 2 and through number 3. Capper there alongside Snowden. Surely this is a slam-dunk move into turn number 4. Later on the brakes, just use the space. I'll tell you what, he hasn't got it done though. Snowden's still fighting back, and this is allowing Hart and Tokarev into the battle. Don't count out Hurtus behind either. This could be a 5-way battle before we know it for 6th position. Capper did able to complete the move as there goes Snowden down the inside, late on the brakes into turn number 8. Thank you very much. Capper left the door open and got caught napping. Fantastic stuff from all these drivers. Hart now getting in on the action. Tokarev wants to make some positions up too. And don't forget, Sebastian Hurtus started right down at the back. Had to serve that qualifying ban. But he's certainly making some inroads here, and he can almost get into the top 5 if he can get past all of these cars in front of him. Now that is going to take some doing if he wants to manage it. And of course, in all of this excitement, we do not know how many cars are going to be for the reverse grid. It's between 6 and 12, of course, selected at random. as they fan out over the curbing on the exit of turn 13. Back to single file. Still no move for the time being. Like we said, your best chance is down towards turn number 1. But you do need to get a nice exit out of 14. But that is where your skill comes into play. Snowden managed to regain that spot down in turn 8, has held on to it since. Kappa still trying to look to make the move. That was a bit deep from Snowden. Kappa unable to capitalise though, as they pull away slightly again from the group behind. That's Hart, Tokarev and Hurtis. Kappa flashing his lights, clearly in a bit of discontent. Oh, Snowden chopping the nose off of that green mixed wheels machine. I'm sure Kappa will not take too kindly to that, but he can't do anything about it at the moment. Just going to have to sit, bide his time and wait for the move. Will we see a repeat of what Snowden did to him last lap? No. Oh, Hart got a little bit squirrely on the exit there. Is this Tokarev's chance behind? It's going to be tricky into turn 10. Hart able to collect it up, so no, not for the time being, as that was a slide from Hurtis there on the exit. So that's him having, well, he's dropped off a little bit because of it. So that will put on pause for him. Kappa in front, having looked down the inside there of turn 11. No way through though for the Italian. Is this battle really beginning to hot up? Just under 12 minutes, just over 11 minutes really to go in this race. Time ticking by rather quickly, I would say. Snowden still holding on to 6th for the time being. Kappa 7th, Hart 8th, Tokarev 9th and Hurtis 10th in this battle. The top 5 positions, no changes as of yet, as that was wide. Oh, I shouldn't say wide. Kappa had to go wide because Snowden took a tighter line to try and defend, but I think he may have lost the rear because now Kappa has definitely got the run. He went so far to the inside line. Here comes Hart though. Kappa's having to try and defend from Fraser Hart behind. Is Snowden going to be late on the brakes? Yes, he is indeed. Does he go too deep though? No, he hasn't. William Snowden, late on the brakes, managed to hold it all together and still holds on to 6th position. I don't know how he's managed it. Kappa still turning up the heat into turn number 4. Can he go round the outside potentially? There's a little bit of contact between the two of them. Is this the chance for Fraser Hart or Vlad Tokarev? Flash of the lights from Kappa. He's really not happy. Through the S's of 5, 6, 7. No chance in there, but now maybe a lunge into 8th potentially. No, not quite. All 5 behaving themselves as we've had a move for the lead. Alex O'Grady has retaken the top spot and managed to get past Cedar Weyer. Can Johan Kersen make a move potentially on his teammate? Doesn't look like it so far, but Alex Grady back into the lead with less than 10 minutes on the clock. Fantastic stuff. Top 3 here, nothing separating them. Well, the whole podium's still up for grabs. You could argue if there is too much of contact, it could all spell disaster, as this is between Lewis Werrell and I believe it's Cahill Graf. And Raider Uhalau has managed to get past the pair of them, I believe. He's up to 11th. Lewis had a really fantastic start. It's just a shame he's dropping down the order a little bit here. Seems to be struggling a bit for pace, as that's going to be so close. Little door tap between the pair of them as they turn into turn 14. I think Graf managed to get in front. It's whether or not they can make a move down the back end, as that's, I was going to say, Kappa I saw in the background getting close to Snowden down the inside into turn number 1 though. Could this finally be it? They make contact through turn 2. Snowden got squirrely. This has allowed Hart to go by. Snowden losing 2 positions. Is Tokarev also going to get some momentum? He's having to go right up to the sandy line on the inside. covers it off from Snowden. Hertus also around the outside, and just like that, poor William Snowden has gone from the front of this pack all the way to the very back. I say that, he's not giving it up though without a fight. Oh, you don't have to see that side by side through the S's. Down the inside for Snowden. Hertus didn't really have an answer to it. Brave stuff from William Snowden there. Doesn't want to lose too much in the way of things. As that's going to be an audacious attempt from Sebastian down the inside of turn 10, but got his nose chucked off by William Snowden, defending that position. And that's a nice up and under, as that, I believe, was Axon in the background having a half spin. This is still the battle between Lewis Werrell and Cahill Graf. Getting also close into the braking zone. Has Lewis been able to get? No, he can't. No, not enough to get up and under. I think there's too much pace through that corner. But this is absolutely fantastic racing up and down the field. You love to see it. Into the final corner they go, but we're going to jump back forward to this battle still unfolding before us. This is Sebastian Hertus now behind William Snowden. Snowden lost a few positions last lap, and look at the pace difference the three that got past have, as Hertus is now going to try and have to do it the long way round. There's contact into the braking zone as Snowden slowly came across under braking. I think he'll get away with it in terms of the rule book, but that was a little bit naughty. Through free and up towards turn number 4 now. A little flash of the lights there from Sebastian. Clearly feels he was done a bit dirty, as that battle's been put on pause as the gap opens slightly, but this one certainly hasn't. Hart still hugely under pressure from Tokarev behind. It's now for P7 as these three drivers managed to get past Snowden a lap or so ago, and Tokarev has been staring at the back of that Brabham Fassetti car for the entire race so far. Will we see a move in these last 5 minutes or so? As I'm sure within the next minute or two we'll also find out how many are going to be up for the reverse grid. Kappa pulling away slightly there. He'll be happy with that. Cripps is out of range though, that is for sure. The top 5 just sort of a bit of a league of their own almost in terms of pace, but you know, even the 4 and 5 of Hoffman and Cripps still not quite on the level of the front runners, Grady, Weyer and Kayan. Insane pace between those guys. No, I say that Hoffman not far off actually when I look at it. Kayan has also dropped off ever so slightly. This is on board then with Vlad Tokarev through the final curve. 10, 14, 15. See there's some of the smoke sort of being thrown up. I say smoke, it's more like sort of dust, debris kind of things. Cars go offline, but that's what it looks like to me. It could also just be the fact that there are, you know, lights on the circuit, a bit of a shadow coming across it every now and then as deep into the braking zone. No way past for the time being. And I can also confirm to you we're going to have a reverse top 7. So for Vlad Tokarev, this could be crucial for race number 2, because as it stands, Fraser Hart will be on reverse grid pole unless Tokarev can upset that one. He's got 4 minutes to do so. Clock is ticking. He certainly has the pace to do so, that's for sure. It's whether he can find a move. Kappa not out of it though. These drop back slightly into these guys. Yeah, I wouldn't even count out Snowden and Hertus at this point. If these three really do start battling hard again, that gap could close up mighty quick. Hertus won't close up with a line like that. Missed the apex by a good half a metre or metre. Tokarev though about that behind Hart, which is not a lot in terms of lap time between the pair of them. He's practically alongside, just kissing the rear end of that Porsche. Can he find a way through there? That is the important part in this. And I have 2 laps at the end of this one. So my lap 13 prediction was spot on. To the final corner. Kappa leading this train here still from Hart, Tokarev, Snowden and Hurtis. This 5-way battle. And of course it is crucial because we've got that reverse grid pole down to P7, which currently Fraser Hart occupies. Can Tokarev get in on that action? O'Grady still leading the race from Weyer and Kerjen is third in the top 3. Hoffman potentially with a shout at taking that final podium spot. The gap there only a few tenths between them. Cripps sort of in a bit of no man's land at the moment, and then back to this group here once again. Goes all the way down to P10. Uhalau 11th, Graf 12th, Werrell 13th, Axon 14th, Messina, Gravett and Oliver, I believe, has retired in pit lane. Still no way past then for Vlad Tokarev. He's going to have to try and get creative because he's only got about a lap and a half to do it. Can he find some space, even if it's just half a door's width? You can sometimes get your foot in there. And then that becomes a driving wedge as you find your way and power through. Weyer setting the fastest lap, or has the fastest lap, I should say. Gap about half a second between the front two there. Still not masses separating them, but we're still happily eyeing this battle here for P7. Really and truthfully though, P6, because Kappa right there in front, not out of it just yet. Fantastic camera shot as they run over the rumble strip there. As we've got 1 minute left, this will be the final lap coming up then, so white flag. Can Tokarev find a gap? Or will Hart be able to just about hang on and take that reverse grid pole? We're going to have 1 lap to find out. Down to turn number 1. Best chance really at an overtake if you can get the slipstream and the exit out of the final one, but no way by for Tokarev at the moment. Hart looking at the back of Kappa as well. Now on the run up to turn 4, highest point on the circuit, before it dips away into the S's of 5, 6 and 7. Still no change here. Kerjen dropping back from the front 3 as Hoffman is now within half a second of that top 3 battle. I say top 3 for the podium spot, as that Hart is massively closed up there through the S's. Are we going to see a chance here? Kappa having to go defensive. Tokarev finds a little gap in the inside. Is he going to be able to get the traction down on Exeter? That's the question. Hart not giving this up either. Tokarev, Hart, Kappa, are they going to go 3 wide into turn 10? That would be something to see. Can Tokarev go all the way around the outside? No, not just yet. They still stay in the same order. Kappa, Hart, Tokarev. In comes Snowden. Hurtis not far behind as well. Not really many chances left now around this circuit. Through turn 11, we've seen this so many times. Tokarev so close to the back of Hart. Just can't find an answer. He can't find a way through. And I don't know if he knows it, but it's going to be crucial for that reverse grid pole. But round the final corner comes this man, pole position man, Alex O'Grady. Will we see another 360 as he crosses the line to take the win here? Weyer come home in second. Kerjen is third. Hoffman fourth. Grady already returned to pit lane, so it looks a bit odd there. Round the final corner, this battle comes though. Hart is not going to be able to get past. Tokarev also not going to be able to do it. No, stays as is. Kappa, Hart, Tokarev, Snowden and Hurtis, your top 10. Uhalau will come home 11th. Graf is 12th, and then this battle here between Werrell and Messina, not going to be any change there either as they cross the checkered flag. And then we just wait for Axon and Gravette, the final 2 drivers, to come home and take the checkered flag. I mean, what a fantastic race that was. The only thing I'm confused about is why is O'Grady sitting in 17th is what I really want to know. Maybe I'll have to get some confirmation from Rich during our short break here, so don't go anywhere. We will be back in about 5 minutes for race number 2 as we get the grid all ready and set up, and maybe I can get an answer to your question as to why O'Grady is slightly further down the grid as opposed to coming home in first place. But don't go anywhere, we'll be back very shortly. Hello everyone, welcome back. Apologies for the slightly extended break there in between. I think we just had a few technical issues, but either way, we are ready to go here for race number 2. So hopefully we can have as brilliant as a race as it was in the first one. Big unfortunate loss here though. We did have at the very end, Alex O'Grady was disqualified for track limits, is what I'm being told. I will double check and get confirmation, but either way, we saw it on the timing tower at the end of the race, and it dropped him down to 17th. As you know, he was winning, of course, but he's now going to be starting right at the back. So it is real unfortunate for Alex O'Grady, but he will be starting from 17th and didn't pick up any points in the first round. He didn't serve a stop-go, is what I'm being told, so confirmation on that one. Does, however, promote this man, though, Vlad Tokarev. Let's get a look at the grid now, because this man is now going to be starting on pole position. So Vlad Tokarev gets that reverse grid pole. Fraser Hart will be lining up alongside him for second place. Alessandro Cappa, Callum Cripps, they're going to be on the second row in third and fourth. And then behind them for row number 3, we will get the likes of Tobias Hoffman and Johan Köyen for Brabham Motorsport there. Cedar Weyer and William Snowden there, 7th and 8th on that 4th row. A little bit further back on the 5th, we have Sebastian Hurtis and Raider Uhalau 9th and 10th, with Cahill Graf and Lewis Werrell 11th and 12th on the 6th. 13th and 14th, we have Carlo Messina and Chris Gravett. 15th and 16th is Alan Axon and Danny Oliver. And then I believe on the final row, Alex O'Grady. And yeah, real big blow for him. He was, of course, leading the race. But if you have a stop-go penalty, my advice would be to serve it. But I can understand him not wanting to. It makes absolute sense. But unfortunately, no points scored. But either way, he'll be looking to gain some more positions and hopefully capitalise nonetheless here in the second race. One also big thanks to our sponsors once again in Phoenix Sim Racing and Demon Tweaks. Phoenix Sim Racing, they're a non-profit organisation set up and designed to help and support those with disabilities and help them get into motorsport with adaptive systems to accommodate their requirements, whether it be through esports, sim racing, or on-track real-life action. And Demon Tweaks as well, you cannot forget them because they are a fantastic company. They, of course, offer the most complete and innovative motorsport car tuning and motorcycle product range available worldwide. And we say it time and time again, no matter if it's your first day out on a circuit or whether you're returning for your 10th year in a row for some hardcore racing action, Demon Tweaks, of course, have some fantastic products for you. And that brings us here then to the Porsches lining up on the grid for the second time. We're going to have another 25-minute race here then. Of course, that front 7 have been reversed, so Vlad Tokarev takes top honours and Fraser Hart will be alongside him. Let's see how this goes down then towards turn number 1. Will anybody beat a standout getaway off the line? As I think that was, looking back there a bit further, I think that was Lewis Werrell just finding his grid spot, or maybe struggling to find his grid spot, I should say, moving around for a fair bit. I believe all cars are there, though, in their spots now. And we're just waiting. Oh, I say that. Are they? Yes, there they go. There's the klaxons. We're getting ready to go here for race number 2. The cars are revving up. Foot flat to the floor now as they get away from the starting blocks. And that is a magnificent start there from Fraser Hart. Bogged down it was. I believe it was for, I'm trying to work out who that was, in fact. Who was it who got really bogged down off the start there? One of the Brabham cars. Either way, into turn number 1 they go. Fraser Hart managed to get up and under Vlad Tokarev. That's going to be a big blow to Tokarev because he's been looking at the back of that Brabham car all of race number 1. Is it going to be a repeat here for race number 2? Kappa got a good getaway. Hoffman there in 4th. Weyer is up to 5th already as there is a flurry of blue. I believe that's 5th, 6th and 7th. Oh, sorry, 4, 5 and 6. 7th is William Snowden up 1 from his starting block. Sebastian Hurtis is also there in 8th. Cripps and then Uhalau rounding out your top 10 as car still vying for position. A bit further back, Lewis Werrell trying to make up a move on Uhalau into turn number 8. Down the inside he goes, should be able to cement that one into the next corner of 9 and 10. Carlo Messina looking to go round the outside, the longest way of all, but no way through for the time being. Door is actually wide open for Alex O'Grady to sneak up the inside. He's had a fantastic start, gaining 4 positions in the first 10 corners and looking to hopefully gain some more. A bit further forward there, that's Snowden trying to go down the inside of Kerjön into turn number 11, almost making contact as they do. But luckily not on this occasion. And everybody cleanly away. That was a car very wide in the background. Out to be Carlo Messina there. Now dropping down to the back of the order, but still very much in this race. So round turn 13. And fire it down towards turn 14 for the very first time. The Brabham drivers nest. They definitely want to race each other. Weyer, Hoffman, Kerjön. 4, 5 and 6 as they round the final corner to finish lap number 1. Hart with the upper hand and the advantage. Tokarev dropped to second from that initial getaway. Kappa still holding third. Weyer is 4th now, Hoffman 5th and Kerjön is 6th. Who's going to be latest of the late breakers into turn number 1? I think it's going to be Snowden as he tried to look down the inside, but the door slammed shut in his face and no way through for him on this occasion. He's going to have to play the patient game as O'Grady making up another spot. He's trying to get alongside Uhalau here into turn number 4. Will he be later on the brakes? Certainly seems to be. Positions that Porsche rather nicely. And I'm sure he'll run Uhalau out of room. That was mighty close indeed, but does get the position. And O'Grady up to 11th already, 6 positions from his starting blocks. Tokarev going to try and force the issue early here. Desperately wants to make sure he can get ahead of Hart this time. Was unable to do it in race number 1. I don't think the opportunity presented itself for him, so it was tricky stuff. Let's see if he can have a go here at round 2. Can he get some early blows in, gain the upper hand? Of course, the bigger question is, can he go the distance? Turn 11, turn 12, tricky sets of corners. You're sort of modulating your turn in. Of course, trying to maximise the momentum and speed through every corner, but you don't want to run it too wide and pick up too many violations for track warnings. Does that look to be a yellow Porsche in the background? They're going wide. I wonder if that was O'Grady once again, as he's now made the move on Lewis Werrell, or has he, into turn 14, late on the brakes. No, Grady goes through, so Werrell down to 11th, Grady up into the top 10 already. As the cars are looking to fan out down the start-finish straight. Weyer still behind Kappa, as there's the move from Tokarev. He's deep on the brakes, he's locked a tyre. There's a massive skid mark on the circuit, but he got it stopped. He's got ahead. He's now ahead of Fraser Hart and takes the lead of this race. 20 minutes on the clock. What have you got, Tokarev? Can you defend it? Into turn number 4. I think Fraser Hart's already got it back. Yes, he has, and he's now hugely under threat from the cars behind. I don't know what happened there for Tokarev, but either way, Hart back through, and that lasted all of about 200 metres for Tokarev. Kappa massively under pressure now from Weyer behind. The Brabham Esports team lining up to take on the Italian. Can he hold his nerve? Championship leader Sido Weyer, the leader of the pack, as that's going to be deep there from Hoffman. Oh, that was close indeed. Kerjön got through as well. I wonder if Cripps could try and get on this as well. He's got Snowden in between them, but if he could then make it Brabham 4, 5, 6, 7, that would be quite something. They made it a 1, 2, 3, 4 with O'Grady's disqualification. Through turn 13, Kappa, pressure on. And he has got the championship leader of Sido Weyer bearing down on him. Weyer with a nice points lead now. Some 26 ahead of Tokarev. They're fighting the car, wrestling it through the final corner, but does wrestle it into submission. As here comes his teammate now, Kerjan, alongside who's going to be latest of the late breakers here into turn number 1 again. Kerjan with the inside line. Can he force Weyer out wide? No, not quite. They're still going to be side by side through 2 and now 3. And here comes Hoffman. Can he do all 3 of them? It's a Brabham 4, 5 and 6, and they're going to be fanning out 3 wide across the circuit. Who's going to come out on top? I think it's Kerjan for the time being, as that's an audacious attempt from Fraser Hart out front. Vlad Tokarev has finally got the move done. Kappa now going through as well. Or has he done? No, he hasn't. Hart slots back in between. So it's Tokarev, Hart, and then Kappa, your top 3 still. Then come the Brabhams of 4, 5 and 6. Snowden breaking that party up there in 7th. Had an audacious look down the inside of Weyer there into turn number 8. This is going to allow Cripps into the battle now as well. Hurtus right there, and Grady slowly catching in on them. This is intense stuff. Look how close it is here in the top half of the field. I don't quite know where to look. Oh God. Brabham cars there. Snowden boxed in. Where can he go? Probably nowhere. Cripps is going to go down his inside though and happily pick that one up. Is Hurtus going to try and follow? No, not quite. Snowden able to find the gap and slot back into position, but he did lose out to Cripps. But where could he go when you're being boxed in by the teammate of Weyer? Hurtus and O'Grady now lining up Snowden down this back stretch from 13 to 14. Hurtus down the inside. Grady going to be looking on the exit as the door almost opened and presented itself for him at the apex. That is insanely wide there from Sebastian. Joins back onto the circuit. I wonder if he'll be given a bit of a slowdown for that one. Have to wait and see. Snowden went defensive. Grady goes more offensive though. No way through. Snowden down the inside of Hurtus. Can Grady do the up and under, or maybe the out and under? I don't know. Oh, sideways! O'Grady losing momentum. Snowden wide. There's no position changes there. Up front, Tokarev still leading from Hart, from Kappa. Kerjan and Hoffman 4th and 5th. Weyer 6th, and Cripps is now 7th. So you've got a Brabham 4 through to 7th. And it's mighty impressive, such a big name like Brabham here for the T6 GT3 Championship. It's absolutely fantastic to have them here. And this is Lewis Werrell now 12th. Raider Uhalau pulled away ever so slightly there in 11th. But he is definitely trying to defend there from Graf for that 12th position, as this is the Brabham quartet. Still trying to find some positions if they can. Kerjan, Hoffman, Weyer and Cripps. 4, 5, 6 and 7. Just over 15 minutes left in this race. Don't quite know where the first 10 have gone, if I'm being completely honest. Looking back at Snowden, he was very much under pressure from O'Grady there on the exit of 13. Let's see if we can pick up that action as we get close. Never mind, because we're going to pick up that instead. That was a huge moment there from Kerjan. I think he got caught out by Kappa in turn 14. Is he going to come into pit lane? Surely he does. That seemed to be quite a big hit there. Or was that Cripps in? Who was that just come in? Who was dropping down the order? That was Hoffman. Hoffman is in. What has happened there? I do not know. Here's O'Grady on Snowden though into turn number 1. Forcing the issue, but getting a position done up to 7th place. What has got on? Hoffman has dropped down now to 16th. Where is Kerjan? Kerjan is 9th. Weyer is now in the top 3. Cripps is 4th. Not Cripps, sorry. Well, yeah, Cripps is 4th. Kappa is 5th. What has just gone on there? Chaos ensued for a brief moment. I don't quite know why or how. Is now in the top 3 Cripps. Either way, Kappa looking to try and get back at Callum Cripps here for P4. Cedo Weyer has now found himself into that podium spot once again. The man is an absolute machine. Mighty impressive stuff from him. Just trying to work out how many times has he been on that podium. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times he's been on the podium out of, I believe it is 9 races so far. He's absolutely man on a mission, is Cedo Weyer, and it shows in his championship standings, of course, leading it by 26 points. Really impressive stuff from him. Now this is the battle we're looking at here between, I want to say it's O'Grady and Hurtus. It certainly looks that way. This is the battle for P6. Hurtus defending from O'Grady for the time being. The gap is next to nothing. You can see that on your screen. You don't need me to tell you otherwise. Are we going to see O'Grady pull out late in the braking zone to go for the move? There it is, down the inside. He's locking up that front right. That's the little purple lines showing up on his dash. Just micro lockups. He'll get away with it though, and he gets the position. He's up to 6th now. What a meteoric rise for O'Grady, but Hurtus is not going to give it up. As we saw in the background, Lewis Werrell completely messing up turn 1. He's given it up as well, as that was a fantastic move up and under there for O'Grady. Hurtus got back through on the brakes, but he went deep, and O'Grady went up and under and said, "Thank you very much, I'll have that." This is the battle between Messina, Axon and Hoffman behind. Hoffman, I think, having to serve a drive-through penalty is what I'm going to guess as. But Axon and Messina, they're incredibly close indeed. Hoffman, we know, has such tremendous pace. Of course, was on the up towards the podium in race number 1. I think he actually did get the podium in the end. So we know he can do it. Question is, can he get past? Taking a much wider line there through turn number 10. He's looking for that cut back then down this short back straight, but I don't think it's going to be on by the time we get to turn 11. Not enough pace on exit. So Axon holding on for 14th for the moment, dropping off slightly to Carla Messina in 13th. So Axon struggling a little bit out there. As we jump back up to the front, this is between the 2 teammates of Cedo Weyer and Callum Cripps. I say teammates, they're both driving for the same team is more what I should say. So pretty much teammates. Brabham Motorsport. I say it's the battle between teammates. It's not. It's Fraser Hart and Fraser Hart Cedo Weyer, but they are in the same liveried car because both of them have a Brabham Motorsport connection. We've got Brabham X Fossetti in Fraser Hart and Brabham Motorsport in Cedo Weyer, so apologies, but I think I will be forgiven because they do have the same liveried car. Fantastic blue and white though, I will say. Tokarov getting a little bit of a healthy gap now, 1.4 with 10 minutes left on the clock. You just have to hope that Fraser can hold up Weyer as long as he can, as this battle is still waging on for Snowden. I feel like he's constantly under pressure from behind, and that's not because he's slow. He's just constantly had a faster driver behind him trying to get by. Turn 10, I don't think there was going to be a move on there, but either way, we've jumped back to this action. Messina, Axon still defending from Hoffman, defending well into turn 10. Axon taking a slightly shallower line. He gets it aggressively turned, and then he's just hoping for the traction on exit. He's got it this time, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Hoffman pulls out the slipstreams, have a little look, jumps back in. Definitely no way through there. But certainly what you would say unorthodox from Axon in terms of racing line, but he's making him work so far. Hoffman looking left, looking right. He's definitely trying to find that move and get away past Alan Axon. Through turn 13 they go now, the short back straight. Can he psych him out? Can he fake a dummy? It's not going to be here in turn 14. You're looking to line this one up and get a fantastic exit like Hoffman has done there. And now you're going to aim to get alongside down to turn number 1, and textbook overtake will be later on the brakes. Apex first. Nice, easy move. He's pulled out early. Will we see Axon come across to defend it? No, we won't. But luckily, he's gained a big enough gap into the braking zone itself that Hoffman unable to get alongside. But that looks a little squirrely on exit there for Axon. Is he going to come now a bit under pressure on the run up to turn number 4, or has he been able to get the power down enough? I think he's got away with it. Turn number 4 now. Still no way through for Hoffman. He's definitely going to have to try something potentially a bit unorthodox, because we know from previous championships he does know how to position a car to defend. He's not an easy opponent to get past, as neither is this man, William Snowden, turning out to be an absolute roadblock and a nightmare if you're trying to get past him. Doing an absolute stellar job, and fair play to Snowden as well for it. Sensational when you know you can not hold them up because you are there on pace, but you just know where to position that car, and because of that your opponents cannot get through. He can definitely pat himself on the back after this one, I think, because both races he has been so much under pressure, and so far he's been able to hang on to it. Turn 14. Kayun still unable to find a way through. Now, can he get alongside down the start-finish straight? That's going to be the question. Who got a better exit out the final corner? The run down to turn number 1. Snowden's going to take the defensive line. It's going to force Kayun to the outside, park it on the apex. Again, fantastic driving from Snowden, just knows where to position that Porsche. This could be tricky now though, because Kayun has definitely got a fantastic run out of turn number 1 and up the rise to 4. Can Snowden position that Porsche once again where he needs to, or will Kayun be able to sweep around the outside? You don't often see moves going that way around the outside of another car, but we're seeing it here and now because Kayun's going to give it a go. Into the S's, side by side still. Can Kayun just about edge in front of Snowden? Yes, he can. Will Snowden fight back? It's not completely done. No, he's wise to it. Kayun takes the defensive line to defend that position. Brilliant move there from Kayun, and Snowden very much powerless to the Brabham Motorsport driver. It's not over, but I don't think you're going to get through there, as I do not know what happened behind. I think there may have been contact, because Uhalau was right there, and now all of a sudden he's not. Certainly dropping down the order. Either way, Kayun got through. Snowden now following the Brabham car. As we jump further forward, this is between Alex O'Grady and Alessandra Cappa. Less than 3 tenths separating the pair of them under the floodlights here at the Bahrain International Circuit. As they make their way to turn number 14 and onto the start-finish straight with less than 5 minutes left in this race. There's 495 light posts around this circuit, and they're all powered by solar. And there's enough solar power from this circuit. It generates enough power to, provide the circuit with enough power for the entire year. It is a monumental effort they have gone to eco-friendly solutions, and it is fantastic to see. Either way, though, in the virtual world, of course, it's all pixels on your screen, but it's still nice to know the information behind all what you're seeing on your screen. As we see the leaders making their way through the S's now. Fraser Hart still hanging on second. Cedar Weyer not able to find a way through. Lap time wise, they're pretty much matching each other. As that is O'Grady right up on the rear bumper of Kappa. This is a move we've wanted to see all evening. Down the inside of turn 10. What a move from Alex O'Grady. He's done him on the brakes. Kappa's not happy. Flashing the lights. But my word, take your hat off, O'Grady, because what a move that was. Fernando Alonso-esque. Absolutely brilliant. He'll be kicking himself that he couldn't have had the win from race number 1, but he's managed to climb from 17th all the way up to 5th. There's still 3 minutes left, and who knows, if he manages a podium, that would be some comeback story. As we have a yellow flag, trying to work out where or who that is. Is anybody dropping down the order? I can't see anybody dropping down the order on my timing tower. Either way, action still happening. We're going to get 2 laps left now. This is Cedar Weyer we're riding on board with here, tucked up behind Fraser Hart's Brabham X Facsetti. Gap half a second. Sound like Weyer struggled to get the power down there on exit. Yeah, you can see the gap opened up slightly there between the pair of them. As we're going to jump back here then to Sebastian Herter, 7th for the moment, behind Alessandro Kappa. Kappa not having a great race number 2 that he would perhaps like. Still not an awful one by anybody's standards. 7th position is still a fantastic result. Sorry, 6th position. 7th if he loses it. But at the moment, still hanging on. And Hertus line him up. Will we see maybe a repeat here of what we saw last lap? O'Grady going down the inside of Kappa. No, not this time. Hertus waiting. As O'Grady has caught up to the back of Cripps then. But this is a very, very close hit on exit. Kappa is going to squeeze Hertus to the inside line. He's going to short that distance as much as he can. Make him slow the car down oh so much more. And then Kappa able to just hang on. The corner's going to come back to him here for the right-hander at 12, but Herter still right there within touching distance, bumper to bumper, as they make their way up to turn 13. Not a traditional overtaking corner, but you certainly can do it. No move then for the time being. Herter still having to fight a way through on Kappa, but Kappa defending well and defending hard. As we're going to get to the white flag now, final lap of this race. Tokarev, we haven't seen much of him, but still leading over Fraser Hart and Cedar Weyer there in 3rd on the podium. The battle for 4th not done and over with yet. The battle for 6th not done and over with yet. This is Callum Cripps and Alex O'Grady. You can even say the podiums are not done and over with yet, because if Cedar Weyer is there, he's all sniffing and lurking for another spot. The only time he's not doing that is when he's leading the race, of course. On the run up to 4, can O'Grady find another position here? Gap 0.4. He's climbed 12 spots already. They call it unlucky for some of 13, but I don't think O'Grady will call it unlucky if he manages to get 4th place out of this. Losing a tiny bit of ground and momentum on the exit of 4 through the S's of 7. Now the hairpin of 8th. Downhill tight corner, really tucking it into the apex there. Although he only has 1. Into turn 9 and 10, tricky corner. As we said, that's deep there. That's deep from O'Grady. That, I think, has given the sigh of relief for Callum Cripps then. I tell you who's not breathing a sigh of relief. Yes, here we go. Fraser Hart and Cedar Weyer. 0.2 is the gap. I smell a lunge. Weyer, I'm sure, is sniffing at it too. Only a few corners left to go. Can Hart hang on to this one? into turn 13, second to last proper corner on the circuit. The gap between Tokarev and Hart is a second. I think there's too much there between them, so Tokarev should hopefully pick up the win here for race number 2. Cedar Ware pulls out extremely early, trying to put off Fraser Hart. Maybe thought about a lunge, but I don't think it's going to put off Hart because he's going to round the final corner and should be easy for him. But this man lost it at the start, regained it during the middle, and Vlad Tokarev is happy to be on the top step of the podium once again, takes the win. Hart will be very happy with second indeed after all of that. Way a third on the podium. Cripps manages to hang on to fourth. O'Grady does keep fifth position this time, and what a rise it was from the back of the grid. Kappa hangs on to sixth position. Then comes Sebastian Hurtis in seventh. Kayan was eighth in the end. Chris Gravett climbed his way back up to ninth after a disappointing start from him. Snowden will round out your top 10. Then it's Graf, Hoffman, Uhalau there coming home 13th. Axon 14th position. And then we have Danny Oliver coming home in 15th, and Carlo Messina, the final driver out on circuit. He will be finishing in 16th. I think he had a bit of a moment later on there in race number 2, so real shame for him, but it's always nice to see them make it to the end, and he'll pick himself up and go again for next time. But rounding out the final corner and the final driver to reach the checker flag, Carlo Messina. Well done indeed. So everybody home and dry here then for the Bahrain International Circuit round. And well, what a second race that was too. Vlad Tokarev takes the win, and he'll be happy, like I say, to be back on that top step. Fraser Hart will be very chuffed with second, and Cedar Ware, I don't know how, but he's found himself on that podium in third. Brilliant drive from him there, and brilliant from Brabham Motorsport as well. Callum Cripps fourth, Alex O'Grady with a monumental run to start from 17th, finished 5th. Alessandro Kappa 6th, Sebastian Hurst is 7th, Johan Kayan is 8th, Chris Gravett 9th, and William Snowden rounding out your top 10. And we get to the back end of the field. Cahill Graf is 11th, Tobias Hoffman 12th, Raider Uhalau 13th, Alon Axon 14th, Danny Oliver 15th, Carlo Messina, final finisher in 16th, and Lewis Werrell retiring earlier on, but will be classified 17th, but obviously did not finish. Well, that wraps up the second round there of this fantastic series, and next time we'll be heading to the Oscherleben in Germany. We'll be heading there for the Porsche Cup in a fortnight's time. We'll also be heading there next week for the touring car, so back-to-back Oscherleben for the T6 Motorsport Championships that we have on offer here. Brilliant racing action, as always, from the drivers out there on circuit, and I'm very much looking forward to the Oscherleben circuit for the touring cars next week, or in a fortnight time back when the Porsche Cups return. So you don't have to wait too much for some more action here at T6 Motorsport. One final shout out to our sponsors as well, of course, Phoenix Sim Racing and Demon Tweaks. Big thank you to those guys. And of course, we cannot forget Rich Weatherall, who runs and makes sure everything does happen here at T6. Well, that is everything we have here for this evening. My name is, of course, still Ashley Denman, has and always will be. Hope you have enjoyed the round here at Bahrain, and I look forward to seeing everybody next time for Oscherleben in Germany. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.